Hi everyone. If you are a fan of this artist, Mark Hearld, and would like to watch me struggle through trying to create something inspired by this beautiful artist, then that's what this video is going to be about. So what I created today based on some inspiration from Mark Hearld's, it's called Mark Hearld's workbook, is a botanical coastal ocean themed thing that's way busier than I thought it was going to be, but whatever. I'm learning. We're all learning. Here's the piece of art that we're going to do together today, which involves collage. It involves stamp carving. It involves some pen work, and me. It involves you and me. So you want to do this with me? So let's come over here. I'll see you here in a minute. Okay? Bye. So I want to show you where I'm thinking of taking this, and I've been thinking about it since I posted my last video, so it's pretty firmly in my mind. I have a 16 by 20 canvas that I purchased at Hobby Lobby for, like $7. And look at it, it's kind of a nice canvas. Anyways, 16 by 20 canvas, painted black. And I am, again, inspired by Mark Hearld's workbook. And I am looking at this concept of like above and below. So what I'm picturing for this piece of art is a skyline with a sailboat and either a moon or a sun with birds flying in front of it, probably a moon, I just don't know. And then underneath some wildlife, some fish life, some seaweed, some seashells, things like that. I may end up carving stamps for this. I started out thinking I was going to do a lino print, but that's such a learning curve for me. I'm not ready for that yet. But I do have enough rubber that if I want to make some little seashell stamps or something like that, I can do that. So this is the concept of where I want to go. And I'm kind of excited about it because I think this is a really, really kind of a fun idea. This was actually recommended by a viewer. She said, if you thought about a nautical theme, and nautical I think is more like boats and ships and stuff like that, but so we'll combine nautical with, I don't know, sea life, that sort of thing. Now what I have done, I'm going to expand my camera view here. I have, and just so you know, look at my arms. Look at what this camera view does to my arms. They're like pool noodles with fake hands on the end of it. So that's what we're going to be dealing with today. So what I've done is I've pulled out a bunch of papers that I want to show you guys. I've got a couple of computer printouts of things that I drew on Procreate. And I have a bunch of things, I'll just go through them while I'm talking, a bunch of blues and greens, which are sort of ocean colors. And because I'm not I'm not an experienced artist when it comes to realism. Oh, here's a bunch of things I wasn't expecting. I'm not a very skilled artist when it comes to realism. I have had to look at pictures to find out, is the foreground light or is the background? I don't know. So I've got some dark ocean colors and some light ocean colors and bright and, obviously it's a 16 by 20 canvas. Obviously, I have way more papers here. But I just wanted to sort them out of the group of what I had. So I also have, because I am so monochromatic, I also have some warm colors, which I think some of my fish might be warm colors. I'm not sure because I don't know fish personally, but I've got some warm colors here for fish. And then I have a ridiculous pile of neutral beiges for potentially my skyline, for potentially this kind of thing. So I think what I'm going to start out doing, and these are just all, grays, different colors of, I don't know, like what color you see the sky when the sun's not shining. So I think what I'm probably going to do is start out by dividing this. Let me get these out of here. Hold on a second, guys. Here's my canvas. All right. Let me get you out of the way. I need you're cramping my style. Okay, I've got this 16 by 20 canvas. And I am thinking I'm going to divide it roughly in thirds. And what that means is maybe the top third is the above world, and the bottom third is going to be what happens underneath the water. And I can see some, I don't know, seashells down here and some freaking seaweed and whatever. That's a good dark bottom layer. And these, can you see these on camera? Yeah, these kind of all feel like sky. Although, hey, what's this? That's an interesting, look at that. You know how I did this? First of all, just so you know, these were all newsprint. And I know newsprint is not archival, but I don't care because I'm going to coat it in plastic. So this was done by squirting my gel plate with a mister, this little bottle here, squirting the gel plate with a mister and then rolling out black paint. And I got this very interesting peeling paint kind of thing. Yes, yes indeed. The only way to go, the only way to go is to just begin. So those feel like sky layers. These feel like water layers. So for those of you who are new to my channel, the way that I typically work with collage, because if you've ever seen collage happen, it's a fairly slow and laborious process. I usually work in real time for, I don't know, until I establish how long things take. And then when things become very repetitious, like gluing things down, I have a tendency to either fast forward, very fast like this, or fade, cut things out and fade in. So that's what you can expect in this process. So unfortunately, none of these papers are wide enough to handle this canvas by itself. So I will probably do it in slices. Yeah, I really don't. You guys are going to find out exactly what I'm going to do when I do, because even though I've been thinking about this piece for quite a while, I do not have a particular idea of how I'm going to do it. So some of you that are new to my channel, see, it's going to curl up. I am a big experimenter. I am not a, I am becoming a collage artist, but I'm not an experienced collage artist. So I am becoming a collage artist because I'm making so much art. I was just going to say, for you guys, it's for you. It's for you, but it's also for me. I'm making art for you, but I'm also making it for me. But you are the motivator, because I am either a lazy artist or I am a afraid artist. So part of the reason why this didn't get posted days ago is because I've been kind of shy about making it. And I'm using Liquitex Matte Gel Medium as my glue. I like it because it's thick. It keeps the papers from curling up so much. Yeah, so my collaging is an experiment. I have been heavily influenced by beginning away from my typical gel printing, which was mostly botanicals. I've been heavily influenced by artist Rex Ray. And if you don't have his book called Rex Ray, you may not be able to get it because it's going out of print. However, you can buy it in Kindle. And if you're looking for some inspiration, that could be an interesting start for you as well. All right. So I'm going to try to go from darker up to lighter, but I don't know how thick to make that. So we're going to wing it here. Okay, so this Catalyst wedge, for those of you not familiar, is just a soft piece of silicone with a sharp edge, and that comes in a whole bunch of different edge designs. I personally like this one because I'm using it the way that you see right now, which is to just smooth things down. Okay, so we're on our seafloor bed where the least amount of light is going to filter down through. So you know, guys know that paper has a direction, and if it won't tear in the direction you're trying to tear it in, like this, like that shredded thing, it's because you're tearing against the grain. See, I'm so careful about how I apply my glue. Okay, that is getting lighter, but is it getting lighter too fast? Look at those little shapes in there, guys. I have to show you how I did that. I did that with this, which is just a piece of cardboard that came in some sort of a shipping box and gave me those little, almost like reflection water looking things. Sometimes if you see me reach off camera like that, I'm sticking my hand in a bucket of water to dampen my papers. Look at this color. This will be interesting to work into that. This is a piece of photocopied paper. It's got a little bit more resistance to tearing. I'm curious to see how it responds to being dampened. We'll find out in a second. Same, curls up. But I really like that. Sometimes my colors get so much the same. I like it that this is got a different feel to it. I was trying to avoid that straight line, but once it's glued down, it doesn't seem to notice. You got to put some glue underneath there, Cherie. You got to glue stuff down. Okay, so I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing right now a little bit more, in the sense that it's just a little less line. It's a little more transition. This color seems wrong, but the cool thing about collage is that if something seems wrong, it's really easy to cover it up. Let's try this. This looks like it's going to be our top layer, and it's brighter than our lower layers, which I guess makes sense. You know, I am more of an abstract artist, which I think gives me permission to take certain liberties with reality. I don't know if that's a true story or not, but that's where I'm going. That's what I'm going with. So let's try that. One last little, let's just have this little tear right there. We got a white cap going on, guys. Realism. I am creating realistic waves. Okay, this is stripier than I had in mind. But my disclaimer is always with collage. I'll cover it up. Like, I don't like how solid these lines are, so I think that they're going to somehow be covered up. We'll figure it out. So I've got my, I want to make sure everything's on camera. I've got my skyline left, which I'm wondering if I might go just a little bit simpler. Okay, I don't know if it's a simple gray skyline. I think it is. All right, let's... Oh, are we doing that again? I want to go the long way. It does not want me to go the long way. So I'm going to show this to you now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down because we need to move this show along. I have no idea how long this is going to take to make because I'm not 100% sure of where it's going. Okay, I'm going to break up this sameness with some randomly placed, what is this stuff called? Craft paper. Randomly placed craft paper slices just to, I don't know, break up the sky. And I feel like I need to drop this skyline down just a little bit lower on this. I'm going to give this just a little wipe down. You can see that things are buckling up. I don't really have any sunshine today. I'm going to just wipe this down a little bit. I want to break that. I don't know with what. Maybe just a couple of little slices just to introduce something slightly less horizontal. There. Just do that. Okay, those are interesting. All right, I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes and then I'll be back. So that was nice. I sat out in the sun, gave my mom a phone call, talked to her for a couple of minutes, and here I am. Okay, so I like this overlapping feeling better than this, so I feel like I'm going to just make some adjustments down here so it's not so linear, and I'm actually feeling like I might need to cover up some of this white. This feels more appropriate up there, you know, up at the beginning of the sky, the darkness with the, you know. Anyways, that's what I'm going to do. So there's not, just for, you know, I don't know, conversation, I'm not doing a lot of thinking here right now. I'm mostly just, I had a very planned idea of what the bottom of this was going to look like, and I don't know that that's where I want to go. Okay, yeah, I'm liking these little slices that just overlap slightly. Sun, the daylight. I do like that little white stripe along the bottom, although, to be honest with you, that's going to get covered up because I want to put a frame around this. Do I? I have put a frame around all of my folk art. And you know, I still want to do it. I still want to put a frame around this, but I don't know what the frame is going to be. And it would be fun if I have something in my library over there of stamps that will give me an interesting nautically themed something. I made a starfish. All right, guys, I'm going to show you where my brain is going. This border that Mark Hearld puts around a lot of his pieces was inspired by a 1940s art school where they would have the students frame their work with something like this so that it could be pinned to the wall without damaging the work. I like it. I've used it in my last 3 collages, and I find it to be really fun. So this is sort of one of the inspirations for where I'm going with this. Boats here. Oh, look what they've done. Look what he's done here. That is way more interesting than my flat line water, but I'm inspired by that. So this is the inspiration with this background thing. So I actually pulled out some stamp carving material because I only have a starfish that I carved the other day on camera. But I want to show you this little orange thing. I was originally thinking that this paper might want to be fish, but I think my fish are going to be dark. I think when I look at that canvas, I need dark fish. But look down here. Look at all these little things that are happening at the very bottom. Let me bring it over a little closer. Look at all these things happening at the very bottom of this ocean. So I'm very inspired by this page as well. This is a single little stamp that he has carved and used over and over. There's a handful of them here. And some of them are stamped right on the paper, and some of them are cut out and added on. I like that. So I like that little school of fish. So I want to carve something small enough, maybe a handful of little fish that I can interpret into a school of fish in my little thing that I'm working on. This I wanted to show you because look at how he has simplified these seashell shapes so that they're fun and they have a sense of humor and they don't look like they were traced. I really like, this is a little more, I don't know if I could draw that myself, but look at how simple these shapes are. Very, very fun. Just to show you what I'm up to right now. I've got tracing paper. I've got a soft HB number 2 pencil. I've got a couple of pieces of rubber. And I've got my canvas so that I can get a sense of scale. So I'm seeing something like this sailboat. Hold on, get on camera. Sailboat in this general area, something moonish, sunnish, birdsy thing. I see. Just do it. Don't tell everybody what you're going to do. That annoys me on channels. All right, let me not tell you what I'm going to do. How about if I show you what I'm going to do? Okay, I'm going to these areas in the center here. I want to be dark. Okay, dark, 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 dark. Now flip it upside down on here. I'm going to use, you can do whatever you want. You can, let me show you what you can do. You can go like this and redraw it, which will transfer it. But you can also go like this. And get a similar result. I'll tell you why you might want to redraw it, is that every time you trace your image, you simplify it and make it that much more interesting. Just a little backup education. I'm using Speedball lino cuts, stamp carving tools. Tiny little V-shaped. I don't want to get it too close because it wrecks the focus on my camera. And then a slightly bigger one, and then in one of these pockets somewhere there's another one. So what I'm going to start out doing is, because this is a fairly not detailed stamp, I'm going to do the outline with this slightly larger tool. Let me get closer. Hold on. Yes. So the outline with a slightly larger tool. If you are interested in a more complete stamp carving tutorial, I will add that to, you know, the cards that play at the end that show you click here to subscribe, that sort of thing. I think that's what I will add that to. So I'm going to go through and get rid of areas I don't want to I want to be paper colored. So stamp carving is very close-up work. I have lost my ability to do really detailed work unless I can unless I can pretty much lay down on the piece of art to see what I'm doing, which is not appropriate for a YouTube video. Let's see, I just lost my perspective. Get this gone. Carve out this center. So yeah, this is going to be the one stamp that I carve in real time because it's simple. But what I also want to do, let me get some of these lines carved. I'm gonna get this thing stained with ink so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me do that. Let me do that right now. Okay, I just have some Ranger's Archival ink, which is waterproof and black, and it's my favorite to use. I'm actually going to wash this off because I know that it's got these beige stamps by Speedball, which are called Speedy Cut. They have debris. They have little tiny little pieces of debris. Okay, I can better see now what I'm going to carve away, but I'm just going to put this on here just to get it off of my stamp. So now I can see what I'm going to carve away. Okay. Now I'm going to go around my outside edge again. And sometimes I like to leave a little bit of what I call noise behind. Some people prefer that, others don't. This looks a little bit big. I like the size of those slices, so let's come in here. Pare that down. Okay. I'm going to go around this top edge. So I keep my, when I'm carving stamps, I hold these like a pencil. The real ones, people don't hold them like a pencil at all. I hope I'm not learning bad habits. So once I carve away this outside stuff, you'll better be able to see what I want to print. So that's a big white line, which makes me want to make this one a little bigger. I'd like to thicken this one up. Okay. Now X-Acto knife. Just so you know, dull tools can injure you. So I don't recommend using dull tools. You see how I am actually steering that removal with the rubber, not the blade. I'm moving the rubber. I'm leaving the blade stuck in my paper background. Okay. I think I would like to give this one more pass. Oh, you know what I'd like to say that just popped into my mind? I don't know where these thoughts come from. I want to tell you what's going on with my website. So myself and Nicole put a huge amount of effort into building out my website and designing products featuring my art, which was very fun. And then both of us sort of were so worn out by the effort of getting the site built that we never really marketed to anybody. We didn't send out emails. And so it's mostly just been sitting there, all lonely, all by itself. Let's get rid of that. These I'm going to save. I like these little pieces. They make really good stamps. Okay. So now we're finding out that at the end of the month, so all of the products that we offer on my website at this time are printed on demand in Canada, in Montreal. Nope, see how far I dug down? Don't do that. Don't dig down far. This is, you really just have to remove just a small piece to get an impression. So now I find out that a tariff thing that allowed us to sell small orders, you know, under $800, was called de minimis, and it allowed small orders to cross the border from Montreal to you guys here in the States and you internationally. I don't love that, but that's okay. All right. Maybe what I'll do, let's break up some of this solid stuff with really thin little curved lines that might echo the shape of the shell. And I'm carving way too deep. So let me go a little thinner. Turn the rubber. So de minimis is going away. And even the, yeah, that's not going to read well, but whatever. De minimis is going away, which means there are going to be tariffs, and I don't remember the dollar amount, but there are going to be tariffs applying to every order on our website. And a couple of people who have channels have reached out to the U.S. Postal Service to ask them how that was going to work, how was it going to affect their business. And the post office doesn't have a clue because nobody has been given any specific information about how that's going to work. See if I made it worse or better. You can see I'm not particularly worried about some of the details. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more on that last thing. So it's likely that if you're watching this anywhere before August 29th, 2025, and you wanted to own something, some kind of women's accessory with my designs on it, the time is drawing near where you won't be able to do that. So if you want something with my art on it that would be an accessory that you'd enjoy wearing, you should go there now and take care of that, because it's not going to be available for very long, and we don't know what's going to be available. I think this stamp is so freaking cute. I don't love that little area there, but I don't care. That is a cute stinking stamp. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to carve some more stamps, time lapse, and then we're going to start figuring out how to do something with yon canvas.
All right, this is a brand new song I just finished writing here. I'm going to try to get through it for you here. Here we go. Looked in the mirror, what did I see? Old man staring back at me with tired eyes. I remember when I was young, thought I could fly above the sun, watch me fly. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, won't you fly? I've told some tall stories, I've sang my own songs. We're just looking for some place to belong, to get by. Short road before us, a long one behind. You're afraid to see what you might find, you won't shine. World is your oyster, all laden with pearls, won't you shine? I felt love and I'm blessed with friends. If I could do it all over again, I would try. Done some good things, but I've done some bad. Taking for granted all the good things I have with blind eyes. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, watch me fly. Good Lord, how fast these years have passed. Pray many more before the last, before I die. Some memories get hazy, some fade away. Don't put off love if you can love today, go and fly. I'm sad I can't be what I used to be, but you'll be surprised with these old eyes see, that's why I fly. World is my oyster, it's laden with pearls, watch me fly. World is my oyster, all laden with pearls, watch me fly. right, well, there you go. That's a rough cut of the new one.
Do another kind of cheating thing, but it's the only way I know how to. Nobody designs in a vacuum. I mean, we're all influenced by everything. So I have a tendency, back when I was doing digital design, I used to build very complex Pinterest boards trying to figure out a direction. So what I did the other day, just to have some reference photos, is I went through and typed in silhouette fish, and I got all of these little drawings. I really like the way that that reads in terms of water eddying. I'm not sure if there's a place for that here, but I think that that's pretty cool. I didn't know what seaweed looked like, so I've got some ideas for cutting out black seaweed, different shapes of fish, little shapes of like an octopus. I don't know that there's, yeah, you know what? Look at all those legs. Sorry, dude, you don't get to hang out today. But these little seaweeds could, and I needed a picture of a boat so I know what a boat looks like. So my boat feels like it should be about this big, about 4 inches. About a 4-inch boat. So what I need to do with that, okay, here's some silhouette material. I really only have a little bit of very black. But if I take this piece of black material, make a 4-inch high boat, which I need to look at. I need to look at a boat to draw a boat. And I have to do this backwards because I want it to come out the right way on the front. A flat bottom boat, about the same height and about the same width. All right, let's put our boat right inside of that shape. Bottom is going to be a boat shaped thing. Okay, that really does look quite small. Maybe I can cut it out a little bit bigger. Here's the bottom of my sailboat. Maybe it's pointier. Okay, that. And then this is pretty literal. My little wonky fish will make it seem less cut out toy. Whoa, this is scaring me. It's supposed to look like a sailboat, and if it doesn't, then I feel inadequate. I feel inadequate, guys. All right, let's do that. Okay, I've got a sailboat, a very literal looking sailboat. I'm going to try just some baby slices of this color or something similar to it. Okay, it's in the water pretty low. It's got a heavy load. I think what has to happen next is seaweed. Well, you know what I might need to do before I go too far into this? I think I might need to design my border. Operator error, guys. I just entirely stamped this entire sheet thinking that I was being recorded, but it was fake news, so I'm going to go a little bigger. There you go, so you can see in the viewfinder. I don't mind that. I'm going to glue. I don't have any stories for you guys today. I have many stories, but some of them are quite long, and I don't want to lose you while I'm telling a story and forgetting that I'm supposed to be making art. So I can't tell you the boot camp story that I've been wanting to tell you because it's so long, because I was a huge pain in the ass for the Navy. But I eventually will tell it to you, because I told it to a friend when we were at the beach the other day, And we were both getting a very big kick out of it. It was actually pretty funny to listen to stories of me being a big problem for everybody, including myself. I joined the Navy. I was 19 when I enlisted, and maybe 20 when I went to boot camp. And you know, now I meet women who joined the military, but back then, there weren't that many of us. We were kind of an anomaly. People didn't know what to think of us. I can tell you there was probably nothing good. Women joining the Navy were given a reputation of, you know, we had a reputation, whether or not we earned it. Anyway, when you're in a male-dominated field, and this is not to bash men, because I have to tell you I'm a big fan of men. Pretty sad about what the world has done to our guys in terms of demonizing them. But when you try to operate in, the militaries, I mean, there probably have been cultures, and I know there in Israel the women are required to serve, and it's kind of an anomaly to put a weapon in a woman's hands, because we are the healers and the nurturers and the raisers of children, and we're the ones that do everything we can possibly do to keep our children alive. Some of us succeed, others do not. I did not. I definitely did not manage to keep mine alive, but kept him alive for 19 years. 19 years and a couple of months and a couple of days. I don't know who the being is. I don't know who calls you home or when they call you home or what they call you home for, but some of us get called home a lot earlier than we anticipate, leaving everyone totally bewildered. Like, what the hell happened? Like, where is my child? Why are they not here anymore? When women join the military, we're playing in an arena that is, as a general rule, unless we've been conditioned by society or have something to prove, and I most certainly had something to prove. I'm not sure what it was, because honestly, you join the military when you don't like being told what to do. The only person who really suffers for it is you. I was definitely a pain in the neck for myself and everybody else. I was young and willful, and I already knew anything, and everybody knows you cannot put something in a vessel that is already full. I already knew everything. There was nothing you could tell me. I wasn't going to learn your way. I was going to learn my way. I know other women who have served, and I don't think any of them were as big of a pain in the ass as I was. But when they know you want out, that is the last thing in the world they're going to give you. They're going to keep you there. They're going to keep you there if they have to lock you up to keep you in. Yeah, and there I had some friends that they were determined to get kicked out. They never got kicked out. They spent all their time in the brig. I'm going to go quiet so that I can let you listen to my brother, and I'm going to concentrate on cutting out some long, skinny, let me show you what I've got in mind. Kind of on the idea of this, but not nearly as sophisticated. And I really like the idea of this. This looks like my stamps. I don't know when the little fish get involved, but I'm going to cut out, right now I'm going to cut out black. glue down a fish that I cut out off camera. It's probably not big enough, but it's going to be the one with maybe some embellished things. Maybe it's a shark. You know how there's those baby fish that follow other fish around and eat their parasites? Maybe that's what we've got going on here. I've got some southern hemisphere fish down here who have come to the northern hemisphere to visit. So probably what's going to happen in a minute, I'm going to I need birds. So probably what's going to happen, these are going to go out. This is going to go out in the sun again. I am going to this is getting a little bit busy. A little bit busy. It's a lot busy. But it's the underworld. It's the undersea world. It's a magic world down there. So this is what I believe is going to happen. Next I'm going to carve a bird stamp. I'm going to get some birds traveling in front of this thing. I'm going to put this thing in the sun while I'm carving, and then I'm going to put some white pen work on it. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new 2 days later. And I thought I was going to work on this yesterday, but I had a friend come over yesterday, and I had so much fun just being with a friend. Just being with a friend and not worrying about a deadline. And yeah, so we had a good time. So I woke up this morning and I looked at this thing, and I'm not absolutely in love with what I'm looking at. I really don't like this orange thing here. So I think what's going to end up happening, I want to cover up this orange thing to make it seem like it's behind what's going on here. So I'm going to, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it. See if I can't disguise how disruptive that orange thing is, because I'll tell you what, it's not bright enough to do what I hoped it would do. I just want to hold these pieces in place until I can get my wet glue out. And there's some things that I'm going to be able to fix with pen work, not until everything is done, because of the glue problem that I have where the glue activates the Posca pens. So I'll probably be a little bit quiet while I'm doing this, because it is going to require a certain amount of concentration. So yesterday, well, I'll talk for a couple minutes because I can. Yesterday, my friend Nicole came over. Nicole and I have known each other for a very long time. She's actually my business partner for my website. Her computer crapped the bed the other day. So she's trying to work on my website from her phone, which is kind of a challenge. So I let her use my 2014 Mac, which I did not wipe, so it's going to have all kinds of crap on it that she's not going to need, but it'll be better than none computer. Definitely could fix some of that stuff with pen. All right, so maybe what I'll do, since I want these to be behind, I'm going to glue down a layer and let it dry, and then I'll cover it with pen work. Because I learned the hard way the other day on an earlier video that Posca pen comes back to life when it's covered up with this kind of glue. So today is supposed to be 91 degrees, so I am going to keep the air conditioner running in the background and hope it doesn't drive you crazy with its droning. And I'm going to put this thing out in the sunshine for a minute. Let me show you what I'm thinking. I've got my usual Signo, Uniball Signo pens. I don't really know. These are all written in Japanese, so I don't have a lot of information on them in terms of the tip size or anything. But all of, I keep all of my, I have an Amazon artist page. I'm an influencer, guys. I have an Amazon artist page, and all of my supplies are on that page. So if you just click on it, it'll take you to all of them. So I've got these three, gold, white, and black. I played around with this orange to make this orange more vivid. So I've got this. I've got black, and I might need a little bit of white. So this is a whole lot busier than I thought it was going to be. Maybe a lot more playful, but I'm trying to figure this out, so I cut myself some slack for not nailing it completely. So what I do when I'm doing my pen work, so we're coming toward the end of this thing, what I do when I do my pen work is I speed it up because it can be tedious. I'm going to make these fish look more like fish, and I'm not real familiar with fish. They have eyes and they have gills, but these are pretend fish because I'm not really sure if they could even swim with the way I've drawn them. So watch me do this thing. And let me make it closer. Closer. I'm going to start with this because I want this to dry. So here we go. actually that might be enough, because this is way busier than I thought it was going to be. And it's entirely possible that I might go through and, I don't know, simplify things by covering up some white. You know, some of these things require me to sit with them for a while. Okay, so I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it, simply because I don't know where else to go with it. Where shall I write my little name? How about right here? It's a little watered down name. Okay, so I haven't named this little piece of art yet. Let me make it a little bigger so you can know. Let me just show you what I did. Okay, I just added some details. I pushed that orange behind because I wasn't convinced I'd done the right thing. It definitely feels like it needs orange up over here, but I don't know how to get it there at this time, so I'm going to leave it alone. There's parts of me that wants to do something orange with this, but I'm scared. I'm scared, guys. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So now you can see the whole piece of art. So this was a fun project. It came out different than I had in my mind, because you know what, when you spend too much time inside your head, I've said this before, my head is a better artist than my hands, and that is a true story with this as well. But I like what I made. I think it was fun. I think it was a worthy exercise. I've got some other ideas for my next collage, which, well, will be the same but different. So anyways, my name is Cherie Burlington. I'm an artist, an errant, an angel mom, and I really enjoyed making this piece of art with you. And I'm also going to do something at the end of this video that I really never do, which is I'm going to invite you to please like and subscribe my videos. I don't do that very often because it feels so commercial, and you guys know the routine. You know how to do this. But it would be nice to have a few more people at my channel, because, you know, I get paid for those horrible ads. They actually pay me for having those horrible ads on my videos, which I know are horrible, but whatever. You know, sometimes having a little bit of extra money besides Social Security is not a bad idea. I would like to hear from you guys if this boat should have been detailed and some stuff like that. So anyways, that's all I have for you today. Visit my channel again. Go visit my brother, Oldielock's Garage, OLDIELOCKS Garage. He fixes old motorcycles, and he won a bunch of contests at a big show this weekend. So for Best in Show. I love you guys. You're awesome. I really enjoy being here with you. I'll see you soon. Bye.